Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So, yeah, not much change here since the last video, but I would like to introduce you more towards the lower level Elliott Wave count, yeah, in a little bit more detail. Not only for the bullish, we're doing it anyway, but I'd like to show you the bearish wave count in a little bit more detail because I had a few requests, and yeah, hopefully that will clear things up a little bit, and also why it is currently so difficult to forecast sort of from a higher level point of view if the low is already in or not. So as I said, at the moment I primarily still think, or I have to think, yeah, that we are going to make another lower low. Reason for that is purely that since we've come down here and we reached at the time here one of the targets that I gave you, when we came down here we could count 5 waves as complete, and when we were up here I told you that we have to come once more lower. We have to, because this would not be a foundation where you build a new all-time high on. We did come lower, and this was another lower low. And from that point of view, my scenario was I was happy. Yeah, scenario fulfilled. Now, if we go once more lower, this is not clear at the moment, because with this dip down, we basically fulfilled not only the higher level Elliott wave count to the downside, but also we fulfilled the lower level wave count. And now, unfortunately, we are presented with various options, which is basically the uncertainty in the market. Yeah, so due to this uncertainty, we see currently how the bulls and the bears are fighting. And also both bullish and bearish Elliott wave counts, unfortunately, at the moment make sense. Probably the bullish one, and that is what it makes so difficult, the bullish one makes more sense than it has ever made in the last 7 months. Yeah, so I've always told you we have to come lower, have to come lower, have to come lower, and now that we've reached this area in which we currently are, it starts to make sense, the bullish count, and therefore it is so difficult to forecast what is currently happening. But I hope still with this Elliott wave count, with both the bullish and the bearish scenario, to present you with something that gives you at least an orientation of where we are. It remains from, I mean, I'm doing some lower level counting here to give you orientation, yeah, and also to make it a little bit more interesting, because obviously I could just do the higher level wave count and would tell you in every video the same stuff. However, it remains the view that we have to first get substantially above 21.7k, then we can address this key resistance area here. And until we get above that, substantially above that, which means we retest it from above and we stay above it, only then we can consider that the bullish scenario is more likely. For now, even though the bullish one starts to make more sense, we haven't crossed that key resistance level, and therefore I have to still be focused on the downside, unfortunately, even though I want prices to go up, of course. Now, the thing is, where are we now on the lower level wave count? So let's take a look here on the lower level wave count. We start with the bullish scenario, and then I'm going to label with you the bearish scenario also in more detail. I hadn't done that yet. Just like to show you, but both are pretty much very similar, yeah, which makes it so difficult. So from this point of view, yeah, I've relabeled this a little bit. Had to do it, makes more sense now, and also to account for the fact that we have come down so low in what I have previously viewed as a wave 4, which I now view as a wave 2. So this here is an impulse to the upside. That's how we can count it from the low here of that wave 2 low. We can count it impulsively to the upside in 5 waves. Due to the stronger than expected retracement here in this move down, we have to label it as a wave 2. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to still label it as a wave 4. Nevertheless, I told you that this would be happening if we come down a little bit lower. And even though we had not invalidated the previous wave count, I think this count makes a bit more sense now. Where you have moved up from the low here, from that yellow 1, 2, we moved up in a 1, 2, 3, then here in a 4, a triangle 4, and then a long wave 5, which is an impulse in itself. We then came down in an ABC correction. Earlier in the video, I think 2 videos ago, I gave you the target area of this green range here, where we would get into based on the extension levels, and we've come in the middle, into the middle of it. Yeah, perfect. And we have seen a bullish reaction to it, which is good. Key would now be, so we can, and also we can count 5 waves as complete. Very important. We can count 5 waves as complete. No guarantee that we go up from here. That would then be a wave 3 here in pink, which would take us through both of these resistance areas. But best evidence for that would be a breakout above, well, first indication would be a breakout above 20.75k, 20,750. But I would say best evidence we can get as soon as possible would be a move above 21,176. Then we could say here wave 5 was complete, wave 5 within wave 2 was complete, and we start to move up. And to be fair, we already see here a bullish engulfing candle. Let's see if this is going to work out now and we start to move to the upside. We can still in this green area drop a little bit lower and it would still all be valid. I mean, now with it being a wave 2, we could even drop lower. But for now, let's focus on this. Yeah, next support should we drop out of this area, which goes down to 20,100. We would find support at 19,800. Really invalidated, would this move would only be below 18,800. But again, if we take more and more support levels out, it will just get unlikely. And here, to be honest, we've reached an ideal retracement level for the wave 2. And also from an extension point of view for the wave A here, this was exactly the area that I gave you. This was here the 20,260 level. And to be honest, I can't remember what it was based on. Let's quickly check that. But again, it shows you the power of Fibonacci. Let's see if that was the wave A extension. No, this was not the wave A extension, so it might have been the wave 1 extension. Now I might be wrong here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't believe it was that one. I would need to go back to the previous video. I would need to take a look, but it was this line. Here it shows the 2.382 extension. It might have been something else. I would need to check, but that was one of the target in the middle here of the green box. Anyway, we've come down to the 2 and we could now move up in the 3 if we hold this level and get above that 20,750 level. Then best evidence that this is finished would be 21,175. Above that level, we should see a bit of a rally, in my opinion. Yeah. Now this is the bullish scenario. Again, the bullish scenario would be completely invalidated, and I mean completely, if we go below 18,600. That would be the significant swing low here. Now let's take a look at the bearish wave count. In the bearish wave count, we've come from the wave 4 high here, currently on our way here, the roadmap to the wave 5 to the downside based on this wave count, and we can perfectly count it like that as well. We can still make a lower low. And I know this is always difficult for new viewers to imagine why is there a bullish and a bearish scenario. Well, first of all, I'm not controlling the markets. So we have certain levels that need to be broken to make one of them more likely. Unfortunately, at the moment, the chances are pretty much similar. I'm still in favor of the bearish one, purely because we have not broken bullish key bullish levels, bullish resistance levels that just would need to be broken to make the bullish scenario more likely. I mean, if you are in a downtrend, you basically are in a downtrend until you aren't anymore. That is just one of the basic rules. But with the Elliott Wave method, it allows us better than any other method to forecast trend reversals, and we are currently in such a possible trend reversal state. But of course, it is very, very early, and therefore we cannot confirm this. You know, it's always like when in an uptrend, when you're the first buyer, you can be lucky and be the first buyer, but usually when you try to be the first buyer, there's a big risk that you still come down once more lower because you do not have confirmation yet. There's not yet enough buyers in the market. Therefore, this is still my favorite one, even though, well, favorite one, I don't like it, but it's still the primary expectation. It indicates that from the wave 3 low here, we moved in a WXY pattern, a more complex corrective wave. And the thing is, first of all, is this wave Y complete? I think so. This should be complete, especially as we bounced off here this resistance level. And we should then now break out here to the downside and move lower and make lower lows. Here, first key level to take out would be basically 18,929, then 18,570, and then the low here at 17,500. And if the first one is taken out, that would already be very good confirmation here at 18,930 pretty much. But where are we? Does this wave Y actually make sense? So what is a wave Y? Well, a wave Y is a 3-wave move. So you would see it as an ABC. A, B, C. Makes perfect sense. This is basically very similar to what you see on the bullish count, because a wave A is an impulsive move, at least not always, but in this case it is. 5-wave move. The wave B is a 3-wave move, just like a wave 2. And the wave C is a 5-wave move. And overall, this is a 3-wave pattern, ABC. So in here, what you can see, here we've made a wave 1 to the upside, a wave 2 to the downside, and now a wave 1. Okay, so well, over all of that basically was the wave 1, wasn't it? Based on this. But how you can count this is a 5-wave move up, a 3-wave move down, and a 5-wave move up. So this is 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves. Does that make sense? Yeah. So 5, 3, 5. Therefore, this is the same count as it is here. 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves. Might be a bit difficult to understand, but a wave A has 5 waves in this case, the B3 and the C5. So it's basically the same sub count that you would find here on that. Yeah. So also here in this C wave, just to briefly show you, in this C wave as well, you can count basically here a 1, a 2, a 3, 4 was I believe here, and then the long 5. So you've got 5 waves to the upside. So you can count the wave Y actually complete. And yeah, and with that count, it's possible to count wave Y as complete. And because of that, I would personally, in the bearish wave count, not really expect the wave Y to move higher, especially as we saw a strong reaction here, and we got rejected from that here, that resistance level. Yeah, and also we've got this bearish pattern here, pennant, bear flag basically, which if it breaks to the downside would confirm that. And here now in the move down, that's the question where we are. I guess we could count this move here as a 5-wave move, 3 waves up, 5 down. So you might have here already your 1, your 2, and your 3. That remains to be seen. Yeah, 3 and a 4 and a 5. Now, again, this remains to be seen here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can count 5 waves. This would be a 4 retracement now. Then the 5 down. With this 5, we could then hit here the support level. And this could, of the impulse down, which is then following, maybe only be the first wave down. So basically all of this just a first wave. So overall, let's just keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. This is how it could unfold. Yeah. And unfortunately, because of this, because it is possible to count it in a very similar way, unfortunately at the moment, this creates a little bit of uncertainty currently in the market. Now, what I definitely can tell you, the levels are the same. So here, to make the bullish one more likely, we need to break above this 23.3k level. This is just a level that just needs to be broken. Until then, anything can happen in this range. Yeah, anything. Those lower level wave counts are very fragile. I mean, I'll keep track of it for you. And as we do this, we are building here higher level patterns. But and as these higher level patterns are built, these remain stable. It's just the lower level ones. They are very fragile, I would say. Yeah, it's a little bit like, how do you say? I mean, the lower level you go, the more uncertainty there is, okay? And the higher level you go, the more you have a pattern. Might be a bit difficult to understand, but you can imagine, honestly, the lower you go in the time frame, the more volatility you could, well, it's not necessarily that, but there's just much more uncertainty. And at some point it just stops to make sense to count. I think the 1 hour that still makes sense, but they get oftentimes invalidated. That's just what it is on the investigation here. If we are in a breakout pattern or not. So hopefully that made sense. Yeah, hopefully that cleared a little bit up why there is currently so much uncertainty here in the market. And this is reflected currently in those Elliott Wave patterns. This absolutely is reflected in this, and therefore we need at the moment confirmation by breaking above this key resistance level. And at the moment we have another chance to turn around exactly where we currently are. Could drop a little bit lower in this scenario. The wave 2 gives us a little bit of play now, how low we can actually go. But it remains, we have to move higher now in a wave 3 to really push higher, and to get finally that breakout done. Until this is the case, until we go above 23.3k, I have to expect that the bearish one plays out, or at least is a little bit more likely. Not only because of the bear flag, but also because we have a very valid WXY pattern here, got rejected at this flag resistance, and we are on our way down in an impulsive way. Okay, so that's currently my view here about Bitcoin. I would love to give you a clearer picture. Unfortunately, there is uncertainty, and I can't wish it away. Well, I can wish it away, it won't go until we have that confirmation. That is a little bit the same situation. Remember back in November, anybody who was with us here, when we were up here at the peak at 70k, pretty much 69. Well, I couldn't tell you here that it's reversing. Where I told you that we will go below 28.6k was, I believe, here at 55, 56k. So we had this period, or we had around 20% or 18% of movement was required to give me confirmation that the bullish scenario is invalidated. And the same situation here now. I can't tell you from 17,000 to 20,000 that this was already everything we needed to see. There is more movement required. More movement required. Okay, and that is currently my view here about Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership, and also make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And there's a lot of additional content there being posted every day, and you can find the links in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.